Kalamandalam Kalyani Gutierrez was a Mohiniyattam dancer from Kerala in southern India. A native of Tirunavaya in Malappuram district of the state, she was instrumental in resurrecting Mohiniyattam from a dismal near-extinct state into a mainstream near-Indian classical, rendering it formal structure. A winner of both the Kerala Sangeeta Natak Academy Award and the Kendra Sangeet Natak Academy Award, Kalyani Gutierrez has also been honored with the prestigious Kalidasa Samman in 1997 and 1998. In 2019, her granddaughter, Smita Rajan, produced a movie, Mother of Mohiniyattam, on the life and works of Kalyani Gutierrez, which is directed by Dr. Vinod Mankara. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Philya. Now I would like to invite my friend Shrutika to introduce the granddaughter of the legendary Kalyani Gutierrez, Miss Smita Rajan. Over to you, Shrutika.
Thank you, Shruti. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shrutika, and I'm introducing Miss Smita Rajan. Miss Smita Rajan is the granddaughter of Kalamandalam Kalyani Gutierrez. Smita's aunt, Kala Vijayan, a recipient of the Sangeet Natak Academy Award for Mohiniyattam, was the first person to watch the talent in young Smita. During a master class at her grandparents' institution, her aunt saw little Smita performing a full cholkettu, a first item in a typical Mohiniyattam dance performance. Her mother, Guru Sri Devi Rajan, taught Smita her first lessons in Mohiniyattam, and Smita performed her Arangetram at the age of 6. She later mastered in Mohiniyattam from her legendary grandmother. Smita has also undergone training in classical Carnatic music under Professor Kalyana Sundaram. She's assisted her mother, grandmother, and her aunt in teaching Mohiniyattam to a number of today's Mohiniyattam performers. It is a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Shrutika. That was wonderful. Now I would like to open the session to the students who would like to ask any questions to Miss Smita Rajan regarding the classical dance of Mohiniyattam, the legendary Kalyani Gutierrez, and Miss Smita Rajan herself on her journey and her learnings.
Good afternoon, ma'am. We would like to know at what age did Kalyani Gutierrez started learning dance?
Namaste to all, and that is indeed a very good beginning. My grandmother, Kalamandalam Kalyani Gutierrez, came from a family who doesn't have any connection with dance or any art field. She started her learning at a very late age of 23, not late, 23 years. She started learning dance, and that is from Kerala Kalamandalam.
Hi ma'am, I'm Sriskani Sitapalli and good afternoon. I'm a Kuchipudi dancer and I would like to know how Mohiniyattam differs from Kuchipudi.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
How Mohiniyattam differs from Kuchipudi.
Very good question. Yes, you know that India has other different classical dance forms, right? There are 8 different classical dance forms from India, and Mohiniyattam belongs to Kerala, and Kuchipudi belongs to Andhra Pradesh, right? Okay, so basically all these 8 classical dance forms has the same root. The saramsham is the same, but all these classical dance forms have a behavior of the different regions of India. So that is the basic difference. And then the visual difference what we can see is Mohiniyattam is more graceful, more circular, more wave movements, more like a garland movement, and you cannot see more of a brisk movements. There are speed movements, but in that speed movement also you can see a lot of soft and very graceful movements in Mohiniyattam. And Mohiniyattam is a dance form. I think that is one and only dance form which follows a Eka Aharya. So Kuchipudi, that it has a very fast movements, more importance to footworks, more importance to more straight lines. Not unlike Bharatanatyam, it has lasya, it has more floating and movements in Kuchipudi. And for me personally, I have felt that there is a resemblance between a Kuchipudi dancer and a Kuchipudi dance and Mohiniyattam dance. So I have seen dancers who do Kuchipudi and who perform Mohiniyattam, and I think these two contributes, each other, helps each other. The Kuchipudi dance and Mohiniyattam, for some dancers, I have seen them taking both these styles, at the same time. And there are some similarities, but basically Mohiniyattam is more graceful, more circular, with more significance to facial expressions, abhinaya. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes. Next question.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about the foreign disciples of Guru Kalyani Gutierrez and the training schools abroad?
Can you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
Can you tell us more about the foreign disciples she had and the training centers abroad?
In Gulamandalam, in Kerala Kalamandalam, you're asking, right? Guru Kalyani Gutierrez started her training in Mohiniyattam at Kalamandalam. And she went to Kalamandalam for a totally different purpose. She went to Kalamandalam, and because Mahakavi Vallatol was a family friend, for my grandmother. So she went to see Mahakavi Vallatol to clear some doubts for her exam in Sanskrit. So she went to Kalamandalam for that purpose. But at that same time, Mahakavi Vallatol had inaugurated a Mohiniyattam Gurukulam at Kalamandalam. But she, the situation in the society was that Mohiniyattam had lost all its dignity to be presented or to be practiced as a dignified art form in the society, by a girl from a good family. So he was finding it very difficult to find a good foster child to learn Mohiniyattam. And that is the time when Kalyani Gutierrez, being a family friend for Mahakavi Vallatol, reached Kerala Kalamandalam. And when she reached there, knowing her family, knowing her literary abilities, Mahakavi asked her whether she wanted to join Kalamandalam. And Kalamandalam in those days was having kind of a very strict Gurukula Shishya Sambradayam, Gurukula training of education. And my grandmother was very skeptical how her parents, her parents and the family as a whole, because that was a very orthodox family she's coming from. So she was skeptical how they are going to take up this decision. But understanding, getting the confidence from Mahakavi Vallatol, she decided to join Kalamandalam. She didn't go back to her family after that, but unfortunately, her family, they banned her from the family. She had to be completely out of the family for taking up Mohiniyattam or to joining Kalamandalam and to learn Mohiniyattam there, because this art form is considered as a very was not a dignified art form by that time. So Mahakavi Vallatol, already when he took the art form into Kalamandalam, he had made some redefining for the art form to be accepted into the society. But as I said earlier, there was not a good child, got a good student, to learn the art form. So Kalyani Gutierrez was one among the first student who joined Kerala Kalamandalam. She studied there for almost 4 years. But the training in those days was the Gurukula Shishya Sambradayam, which they received there, was such a strict discipline they had to follow there. On a regular basis, their day started at 2:30 a.m. and ended at 9 p.m. And there they studied not just Mohiniyattam, they had to go through the Maya Bhyasam, you know, the physical exercises, the eye exercises. They had to learn languages, English, Sanskrit, Malayalam, and all those things they had to learn. And also some instrumental musics they had to learn. And she, at Kalamandalam, she learned almost uh, 5 dance pieces, which was then found in Kerala in Mohiniyattam. So in Kalamandalam, she learned a repertoire which consisted of only 5 items. I think I'm answering your question. Is this the same thing you wanted to know?
Please carry on, Smita
Can
ji.
I?
It's a
Okay.
beautiful thing
So,
to know about her journey and about the Mohiniyattam journey.
okay,
Please
thank you.
carry it on.
Yeah, so she learned 5 dance forms, 5 dance pieces from a repertoire. But you know, at the same time, her guru, uh, Krishna Panikar Ashan had given her more information of the dance form which was practiced earlier, which was almost as which extended to almost 6 hours. The kacheri, the repertoire, the kacheri used to extend for more than 6 hours. And that was the practice which they practiced earlier. So, and then he also mentioned that most of the pieces, which was then practiced, is not practiced now. So basically, in a kacheri, there was cholkattu, which is the first item, like a pushpanjali, cholkattu, jadiswaram, varnam, padam, tilana. Until tilana, she learned that, but she came to know that there was 2 more items, that is a shlokam and a storytelling item, which was in the last part, which was in a last part of a typical repertoire system. And that my grandmother named it as Saptam, because Saptam means the 7th. So the 7th item, she was she was a scholar, she was a researcher, she was a poet, she was a reformer, she was a social scientist, a composer, and an environmentalist, and a champion of women empowerment. With all the scholarship and her research work, she formed a kacheri, full repertoire system for Mohiniyattam. So with the knowledge she received from Kalamandalam, plus the research work she did afterwards, that is after 1958. In 1940, she came out of Kalamandalam. Then in 1958, Mahakavi Vallathol called her back in Kerala, into Kerala, not Kerala Kalamandalam. Near his deathbed, he asked my grandmother to go her, and he entrusted on her to bring back the dignity, or to bring back the standard of Mohiniyattam, and he entrusted upon her that duty. So my grandmother didn't, Kalyani Gutierrez, she didn't believe that this is something which is happening, but from that point, from 1958, there was no looking back for her. She almost two years she did research work for traveling across Kerala to find the roots of Mohiniyattam, and she formatted for a, repertoire system which consisted of 7 items, that is Cholkattu, Jadiswaram, Varnam, Padam, Tilana, Shlokam, and Saptam. So that is the first thing she did. She redefined the basics of Mohiniyattam. She redefined the grammar of Mohiniyattam. She, as a poet, she wrote a lot of literature for Mohiniyattam. And yeah, they're using different perspectives to popularize this dance form. She had, and to give it a deserving stature along with the other well-known classical dance forms of then time, like Bharatanatyam and Kathakali. She used a methodic, a very strict methodic way to popularize this dance form. And bring that dance form, give that dance form a deserving status among the other classical dance forms of India.
Thank you, ma'am.
Namaste, ma'am. So that was great to know about. In fact, you had given a short brief about when all of our questions in our mind. So as you already told that there are different forms of dances like Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, and we also have Kathakali, Mohiniyattam, Odissi, and all the 8 forms, right? So each one having its own significance, and there are legends who have contributed in spreading their roots. So we would actually, you have already shared a few points about how Kalyani Amma has contributed towards Mohiniyattam, but still we would also like to know more about her contribution in reaching the young minds, and how Mohiniyattam reached the mass. So that's my question to you, ma'am.
Definitely, that's a very good question. I would like to read out few things from my notes, which I have, which I can share it with you here. So as a beginning, as I said, Mohiniyattam was not in a position to be considered as a classical dance form at that time. So what she did is, with the knowledge she received from Guru Krishna Panikar Ashan and with her research work, she reformatted the Mohiniyattam repertoire system. And before that, she reformatted the techniques. And the main focus she gave was for the posture of the dance form, the footwork of the dance form, for the adavus of the dance form, kinesthetics, and mind and body coordination. So that was overall grammar she developed for Mohiniyattam, first of all. And then she developed the kacheri system completely. But at that time, Mohiniyattam was not considered, as it was not considered as a classical dance form. She used different ways, and one was that an introduction as a new standardized curriculum for learning Mohiniyattam. So for that, she, as I said earlier, she wrote different poems, different verses, literature. She elaborated the literature for Mohiniyattam. And with that, from that point, she started popularizing this art form. So for popularizing in the 1960s to 1990s. And this is something which is not recorded in the history of Mohiniyattam. That was the pivotal period for Mohiniyattam, and it flourished in the Kerala temples. So in those days, there were no TV, no other media, television, or any other media. When people used to, the entertainment they had in Kerala was the temple festivals. So they attended that in the temple festivals, along with other classical dance forms like Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi and Kathakali in the same platform. She started applying this dance form slowly along with this dance forms. So what happened? People started comparing, and even for her, that was a testing ground she gave to present a Mohiniyattam item along with other classical dance forms. So even for the common people, they were seeing this dance form for the first time, especially when this comparison was happening. They could really feel the difference of this dance form. So the temple festivals is the first thing she used to popularize this dance form. And later, in 1970, with the help of the education ministry, she had worked a lot to with. I remember her going to get a consideration for Mohiniyattam, to get a recognition for Mohiniyattam. She traveled a lot, and finally in 1970, the education ministry agreed and took Mohiniyattam as considered, categorized Mohiniyattam also as one of the classical dance form of India. And from that point, in Kerala, I don't know, there was youth festivals and school level festivals and college level festivals that happened. And she included Mohiniyattam into that list of items, into a festival. So what happened? The dance form, the youngsters, small children, and even the got a chance to learn this dance form and present this dance form, which actually gave a grade for their school education. So by introducing Mohiniyattam into the youth festival, that was the next approach she used to popularize this dance form. And many people, you know, it gained an additional viewership and a national recognition by introducing Mohiniyattam into the festival. Sorry, to the youth festivals and the college and school level festivals. And that was a very interesting one. So first I said, with the temple festivals, introducing Mohiniyattam into the temple festivals along with other classical dance forms. That was the first way. And then she popularized the dance form in Kerala by introducing into this youth festivals. And gradually she also, after with the Kacheri format, she wanted to popularize the Kacheri format itself. So she traveled across Kerala, across India, with organizations like SPIC MACAY, ICCR. She had traveled a lot, traveling across India. And I should say that I'm blessed to say that I traveled with her into many parts of India, and along with her to do lecture demonstrations and short presentations of Mohiniyattam. So, and so from Kerala, it went to other states of India also. So as I said earlier, the beginning stage, the formative stage of popularizing this dance form definitely started with the temple festivals, which is not recorded in the history of Mohiniyattam, because at that time in Kerala there was no press critics or any press reports that happened for classical dance form. So that part is completely taken, not known for much more people, but I can definitely say that where the battleground for forming this dance form, this with lot of experimentation. I remember my grandmother, along with her two daughters, my mother and my aunt Kala Vijayan, my mother Guru Sri Devi Rajan, along with her, she new choreographies. I told you that she wrote poems, she wrote literature, she wrote numerous padams, and that was the time. In the earlier time, Mohiniyattam was considered that only very soft, gentle, seductive movements is all only allowed into Mohiniyattam. But grandmother, she wanted to rewrite this part, and she wrote poems or verses which introduced Navarasas, or giving significance to different characters from the epics, male characters, demonish characters, female characters, powerful female characters. So bringing the Navarasas, giving significance to Mohiniyattam, into Mohiniyattam. She brought that, she wrote verses. So that way, this what to say, that in the olden time only Shringara or Bhakti was portrayed in Mohiniyattam. But you can see she had written the last item which she wrote is the Saptam. In the Saptam, she has written Rama Saptam. She has composed and choreographed Rama Saptam, Parvati Parinayam Saptam, where the Shiva and Parvati's meeting and their Parinayam is happening. In Rama Saptam, the whole Ramayanam story is explained. And there is another, there are few padams she wrote where the Navarasas are explained, given significance to Navarasas are explained. So she enlarged, she developed the literature also, the language. She enriched the dance form in different ways, in various ways. And if the Kalyani Gutierrez's eyes had not fallen in Mohiniyattam, I don't think this art form would have been existing now.
Thank you, ma'am. It was really inspiring to know how much she contributed to this art form and how she traveled across India. But ma'am, can you tell us something more about how her travels abroad and her foreign disciples outside India?
Guru Kalyani Gutierrez has not traveled that outside India. She was traveling inside India. Being a she had a big joint family, being a very good mother, being a very good wife, being a very good grandmother. Her main focus, her tapasya was Mohiniyattam. I remember even her deathbed, she talked about conducting a performance. She will be saying, I remember I was not near her when she passed away. So I remember my cousins and my mother and all saying, she used to say, call my name, because I think during her, from the time I remember, a very young age, I was with my grandmother. I was so close to my grandmother, and I was so close to the language she gave me. That is my mother tongue, Mohiniyattam. I remember I was with her. I saw her, I watched her, I learned from her a lot. I heard from her a lot. And she used to say in the deathbed, my nickname is Sushama. And she's saying, Sushama, your hair is not right. Please correct it. Please tie it properly. Kind of such things. So she'll be in the bed. She was in the bed. She was bedridden for 6 months. Only 6 months, but that was a long time. And in that deathbed, I heard my relatives, people saying that even in that deathbed, she talked about Mohiniyattam. So from the age 23 to her death, it was Mohiniyattam that was her main focus. It was her brainchild. Mohiniyattam was her brainchild. And what can I say? She was in India itself. Her main focus was to give a life for Mohiniyattam. And I think it is a deserving name that she has, the mother of Mohiniyattam.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. I'm pretty sure you learned dance from your grandmother, right? Because she's legendary. Can you describe some of the experiences that are really memorable to you and some of the lessons she imparted to you?
Okay, definitely. As I said, for me, learning dance was not something different. That was everywhere in my family, in my house. I woke up with dance. I lived with dance. I slept with dance, especially Mohiniyattam. So, and I have seen my grandmother, a very strict disciplinary. Her day starts at 3:30. Maybe that is something she started practicing from her Kalamandalam days. There she started at 2:30. But I have observed her in the family, in the big joint family, where the house itself was the Gurukulam, where I have seen a lot of students coming. There are students who are staying in the house, students are coming and learning. The whole place was dance. And one side will be my mother, my grandmother, my mother and my aunt. On the other side will be my grandfather with his Kathakali world. So the whole place was dance. And I have seen my grandmother waking up at 3:30 in the morning, she will just, she will complete all her works and in household works, her puja, and then she enters the kalari where she starts, she goes to the temple, she does her prayers, and then she enters the kalari where she will be teaching students. And then in the afternoon, again, she has to come back to the family. But during when everybody is during the, like after lunch period, I have seen her taking a small nap, and then I have seen her sitting and writing or reading. I know she has a wide reading knowledge she has. So that was her, the way she spent during the afternoon hours. And then I have seen her sitting and writing. And then again in the evening, she will start her kalari. And then, by night, the puja will be there, and ending with the family thing. And she will be, I don't know what time she sleep, but she gets up at 3:30 in the morning. And that was her regular routine. But I was so blessed to say that being around with her, even during my school days, I never wanted to go back. My parents were living separate, in a different house. I didn't want to go there. I always wanted to be with my grandparents, because this is the air which I've always wanted to. And so I was so lucky that sometimes she will be writing something. She might be sitting and composing the whole particular piece, and then she will call me, Sushma, come here, and she will teach me. And she has taught me. At that time, I never knew what I'm learning, but she will be teaching me a full piece, like a varnam or a saptam in varnam and all. She had asked me to come join the classes, and I had the blessings of receiving the first knowledge from her, many items. And then I remember, along with my grandmother, my mother, and my aunt, when they first composed or choreographed, Amama, my grandmother, I call her Amama. She wrote the saptam, and then along with her two daughters, she composed this saptam, and myself along with my sister was so blessed to learn, because they choreographed the items with us. So I think, yes, that was a blessing. And yeah.
Ma'am, did Kalyani Amma compose Mohini Attam integrating Kalari?
Kalari.
Can you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
Ma'am, did Kalyani Amma compose Mohini Attam
Huh?
integrating Kalari?
You know what? There was hardly no much steps, like food, basic steps for Mohiniyattam. So I remember my aunt and my mother and all. They are the first people who have seen my grandmother structuring the grammar, structuring the basic adavus for Mohiniyattam. And I've heard from them that she was a person who used to. She was such a brilliant person who could relate with from the nature, from the existing dance styles, and she tried to keeping the behavior, keeping the real the boundary, understanding the character of Mohiniyattam. She had incorporated, or she had observed many other styles like Kaigutikali, Kalari, all these things, styles she had observed. But not from Kalari she had picked up, the item. For example, I can definitely say there was as I said, there is an Andolana movement, a basic movement in Mohiniyattam. So she might have observed these dance styles or these martial arts while creating steps for Mohiniyattam. For example, this Tom, I hope you can see me properly here. Tom. The body movement is also Tom. De, ta, ta, te, yam. De, te, yam. Te, yam. Ta, ta. So there is a andolanam movement. There is a sideways bending movement. This, that these are the characteristic she tried to, to develop into the Mohiniyattam structure. So
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. That was great to know. And okay.
Ma'am, how did Mohiniyattam took form in the classical dance? What is the history behind it? Like who's the founder of Mohiniyattam?
No, that too she has said. आपने सुना नहीं?
No, actually, she asked me like Kalyani Amma like reformed the actual Mohiniyattam, and then she, tried to make it reach to the present generation. So, every dance has its own history. Like, in that way, she did want to know about the history of Mohiniyattam.
that I'll tell you one more time. So Mohiniyattam was when Mohiniyattam was taken into Kerala Kalamandalam, the institution where my grandmother learned Mohiniyattam, Kalamandalam, Kalyani Gutierrez learned Mohiniyattam. The dance form had lost its dignity, and the dance form was something that was banned in the society. So it was a dying dance form. Okay, and Mahakavi Vallathol took this dance form into Kerala Kalamandalam. And in the dance form, there were a lot of bad practice, not dignified practices that was practiced in the dance form. He tried to take away all those few of the things, few of the movements, few of the practices, like, very seductive kind of dancing. Some of the instruments she tried took away, like Toppi Madalam was one of the instrument which was used in Mohiniyattam at that time. But that Madalam cannot be synchronized with the other instruments. So he took away Tuppi Madalam from the practice of Mohiniyattam. The Nattuvan or the guru used to walk around with the dancer when the dancer is dancing on stage. So he gave a dignified position for the guru and the artist on the right side of, where the dancer is dancing. So some of these practices he gave, some of these, neatness he gave to the dance form. He introduced Mohiniyattam into Kerala Kalamandalam. But after Kalamandalam, Kalyani Gutierrez and that batch went out of Kerala Kalamandalam, that Mohiniyattam Gurukulam didn't have any other students for almost, I think, more than 10 years. There were nobody learning Mohiniyattam in Kalamandalam, and in Mohiniyattam was a secondary subject in Kerala Kalamandalam. And at that time but Kalyani Gutierrez, after learning from Kalamandalam, coming out of Kalamandalam, she kept on practicing Mohiniyattam, but she never knew that Mahakavi Vallathol is going to entrust such a big responsibility onto her. She kept on learning Mohiniyattam, and that in 1958, when Mahakavi Vallathol asked her to take the responsibility of bringing up this dance style, Kalamandalam Kalyani Gutierrez started the research work and did all the works which I said just now explained. So she is considered the mother of Mohiniyattam. You understood?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, your grandmother was not only your grandmother, but your mentor and guide. What's the one advice that your grandmother has always told you that has stuck with you throughout your entire journey?
Her strict discipline, her humbleness, her devotion to her gurus, her truthfulness, and her dedication and hard work.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other question? Or should we go for the video presentation part.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon. And what are the challenges she has gone through, and how did she take her dance to the next level?
Oh my God, she had to go through a lot of challenges, especially convincing an art form like this. You know, people didn't know. Nobody knew what is Mohiniyattam by that time. So I told you that story. She used different methods to popularize this dance form, and the path was not at all easy because this dance form was not a classical dance form at that time. So to bring that recognition, bring that consideration for Mohiniyattam was not an easy path. So I told some of the steps she went through, and yep, it was not at all an easy path. And she was such a single-handedly, her focus with the one main focus, she could achieve what we are seeing now, the Mohiniyattam as we see it today.
Lovely.
Thank you, ma'am.
Smitaji, we would want everybody to watch her journey through the documentary film that you made on her, Mother of Mohiniyattam. Of course, it has not been released, so you have given us small glimpses of it in terms of the videos.
Yes.
And also, while I was talking to you, I found that there is not much of documentation in terms of her own dancing. But of course, her teaching through your mother, through you, and through many of her disciples is visible. It is there. So I'd want you that we show some of her videos and some of the clips that we have, the mixed clips, the mixed baggage that we have. So
she was more of a teacher. She was more of a scholar. She was more of a researcher. And, so you may not be able to see, at that time, there was not much video recordings or anything. But during the making of the movie, Mother of Mohiniyattam also, that was the hard thing which I faced, to find good recordings. But whatever I had, I could, I had tried to include that in the movie. So, and again, everything, I think the rest was her students, her two daughters, and including me, her students are the remaining, I think.
So we'll start with the video presentation. Can you explain us about, like we are starting with the trailer of.
Yes, the Mother of Mohiniyattam.
Yeah.
So that is a movie, a documentary movie on Mother of Mohiniyattam, directed by Sri Vinod Mankara. And I think we can have a small visual of that one. Yes.
Yeah. Abhishek, can you start the video, please? In the first part, we have the 3 clippings. 2 are from that, and one is something that she taught to your mother. And that will cover in the first part. Yes, sir.
മോഹിനിയാട്ടത്തിൽ ഒട്ടേറെ ഭാഗങ്ങൾ വിട്ടുപോയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതെല്ലാം കണ്ടെടുത്ത് കൂട്ടിച്ചേർക്കണം. മെഴുകും പ്രകാശവും വരുത്തി നല്ലൊരു സ്ഥാനത്തെത്തിക്കണം. അതിന് ഞാൻ നിന്നെ ചുമതലപ്പെടുത്തുന്നു.
ഞാനോ? ഞാനെങ്ങനെ? എനിക്കതിന് കഴിയോ?
നിനക്കേ കഴിയൂ. മനുഷ്യപ്രയത്നം കൊണ്ട് കഴിയാത്തതായി ഒന്നുമില്ല. മോഹിനിയാട്ടത്തെ ഞാൻ നിന്റെ കൈകളിൽ ഏൽപ്പിക്കുന്നു.
AD 892 അടയാളപ്പെട്ട ലിഖിതം 1980 അമ്മമ്മ കാണാൻ ശ്രമിച്ചെങ്കിലും നടക്കാതെ പോയി. 2019 ഞാനിതാ എൻ്റെ കാഴ്ചകൾ അമ്മമ്മയ്ക്കായി സമർപ്പിക്കുന്നു. ശ്രീരാമസ്വാമി, അമ്മമ്മ ചിട്ട ചെയ്ത രാമസപ്തം അങ്ങേക്കും സമർപ്പിക്കുന്നു.
ദീം താം തനം നദീനം നാദീനം ദീം താം തനം നദീനം നാദീനം ദീം താം തനം.
അമ്മമ്മ സ്വപ്നം കാണാറുണ്ടോ?
പിന്നെ നിറയെ.
എന്ത് സ്വപ്നവും അമ്മമ്മ കാണാറ്?
എനിക്ക് ഒരു സ്വപ്നമല്ലേ ഉള്ളൂ.
അതെന്താ?
മോഹിനിയാട്ടത്തെ കുറിച്ചുള്ള സ്വപ്നം. അല്ലാതെ എനിക്ക് എന്താ ഉള്ളേ? എനിക്ക് അതിനെ കുറിച്ച് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ.
അമ്മമ്മയുടെ കൂടെ ഞാനും സ്വപ്നം കാണാൻ വരട്ടെ?
വന്നോളൂ.
മുഴുമതി പൊങ്ങി തളിരുകൾ മിന്നി മുഴുമതി പൊങ്ങി തളിരുകൾ മിന്നി മുഴുമതി പൊങ്ങി തളിരുകൾ മിന്നി.
മോഹിനിയാട്ടം ഒന്നാന്തരം ശാസ്ത്രീയ നൃത്തമാണ്. കൈമൈ ചലനങ്ങളുടെ പരിധി, പദവിന്യാസങ്ങളുടെ നിയമം, ഭാവങ്ങളുടെ ചിട്ട എന്നിവയിലൊക്കെ തനിമയുള്ള നൃത്തം.
എന്തൊരു മോഹന ചന്ദ്രിക ഭൂവിരിൽ എന്തൊരു ബന്ധുര ഭാവമഹോ. എന്തൊരു മോഹന ചന്ദ്രിക ഭൂവിരിൽ എന്തൊരു ബന്ധുര ഭാവമഹോ. കുന്ദസുമാവലി പുഞ്ചിരിയാലഭിനന്ദിക്കുന്നീ പാരഴകേ. കുന്ദസുമാവലി പുഞ്ചിരിയാലഭിനന്ദിക്കുന്നീ പാരഴകേ. കോകില കൂജിതം ഉയരുന്നു നൽ ശീകര പവനൻ ഉലാവുന്നു. കോകില കൂജിതം ഉയരുന്നു നൽ ശീകര പവനൻ ഉലാവുന്നു. ചന്ദന കിസലയ ജാലം പരിജോടു സുന്ദര നൃത്തമുദീർക്കുന്നു. ചന്ദന കിസലയ ജാലം പരിജോടു സുന്ദര നൃത്തമുദീർക്കുന്നു.
Do you want me to give an? Okay, I would like to tell you a few things on that. The movie is in Malayalam with the English subtitles, and we were planning to go around with the movie in 2020, but unfortunately the COVID situation, we couldn't do the traveling. So hoping that we'll be going around with the movie in the coming years. In that particular scene, the first beginning you might have seen where Mahakavi Vallathol is talking to Kalyani Gutierrez. That is the first part. And later you have seen the items, which are the compositions. Guru Kalyani Gutierrez's compositions is what you have seen as the singing part. Some of the singing part, it's all her choreographies, all her compositions. And in the particular item which you saw was Guru Sridevi Rajan, her oldest daughter, my mother, and she's doing one of the padam, the Abhinaya pieces, which Kalyani Gutierrez wrote. And those days, that was one of the first padam which expressed the Navarasas, other than just the Shringara or the Bhakti Bhava, which was portrayed in Mohiniyattam. And this particular padam is the beginning part where the Naika is, the heroine has sent her Sakhi to Krishna to express to convey her love to Lord Krishna. And here from the far, the heroine is watching the Sakhi approaching, Sakhi coming back, returning from Krishna's house, and she's so anxious to know, what did Krishna say? How did he take this particular Variga Variga Sakhi? Did you see the Varagunan? Did you see the great person? And what did he say? How did he take it? Was he angry? Was he mocking at you? Did he mock at you? Was he, like that? Very various questions. She's so anxious, and she's asking, did anybody see you? So these are the anxious questions she's asking, how Krishna took her message. And I think we are also showing one more piece where this is a reply to her first piece, that the first padam, first abhinaya is what my mother had performed. And I think I have performed one reply, that is where the Sakhi is explaining what she felt by seeing Krishna. She saw that Krishna, she fell into his feet, and from the feet, the mud heap she took it over her body. She smeared the body with the mud from his feet, and that she expresses that the Sakhi, the heroine, is blessed that Krishna accepted her love. He was not angry, he didn't mock, and he was very happy. He looked at the friend, that is the messenger, and said that to ask the heroine to be happy, to be peaceful, that he had taken her love and that he's coming for her. So that is the message. The Sakhi version is the second part, and the heroine's version is the first part. I can answer if you have any questions also.
The next two videos that we are showing, first one is this, where you are doing the second part. And the last will conclude with where we have a small Navrasas by Kalyani Gutierrez herself.
Yeah, that was in 1990. We went to, that was taken by IGNCA, and did a documentary on Guru Kalyani Gutierrez, and that is a clipping where Guru Kalyani Gutierrez had presented the Navarasas. She is dancing, which is a small piece which we are showing in the movie also. So I think we have not got that clipping here.
Yeah, we are hopeful that once the movie is released, you'll be sharing it with SPIC MACAY, so we can also take it around.
Definitely. SPIC MACAY is one. SPIC MACAY, I always have that high regards for SPIC MACAY, because it's through SPIC MACAY and Shri Kiran Seth ji, and we had traveled across India, passing the message of Mohiniyattam. And I also had been blessed to be along with my grandmother, and my mother and my aunt. Yes. So we'll definitely share with SPIC MACAY in future. Yeah.
So we will go ahead with the second part of the video presentation.
Definitely.
Okay. Abhishek, can you start the second part?
परमचिद्रूपं जगन्मोहनं कण्डे उज्ज्वलकान्तियोडे विलसो पूर्णेन्दु रम्यानना कण्डे വീണു പണിഞ്ഞേ പൊൽപാദരേണുക്കൾ മേനിലാകെ കണ്ടു ഞാൻ ദേവനെ നേരോടുണർത്തി കണ്ടലർന്നേത്രേ സന്ദേശം കണ്ടു ഞാൻ ദേവനെ നേരോടുണർത്തിച്ചേൻ കണ്ടലർന്നേത്രേ മിൻ സന്ദേശം കോപം കൊണ്ടിലവൻ ഹാസ്യവുമാർന്നീല കാരവും ദയാതൃണ തീർന്ന കോപം കൊണ്ടിലവൻ ഹാസ്യവുമാർ നീലപാരം ദയാദ്രനായി വീണു പണി പൊൽപാദരേണുക്കൾ മേനിലാകെ നീൻമിഴിയൻ നേരെ നീട്ടി പൂപുഞ്ചിരി തൂകിയുര ചെയ്തു ദേവൻ നീൻമിഴിയൻ നേരെ നീട്ടി പൂപുഞ്ചിരി തൂകിയുര ചെയ്തു ദേവൻ ഭദ്രേ സംപ്രീതനായി നിന്നിൽ ഞാൻ ചെന്നോതു ഭദ്രം നിൻ തോഴിതൻ ഭദ്രേ സംപ്രീതനായി നിന്നിൽ ഞാൻ ചെന്നോതു ഭദ്രം നിൻ തോഴിതൻ രാഗം ധന്യയായി എൻ സഖി പുണ്യസ്വരൂപന്റെ രാഗാനുകൂലത്തെ ധന്യയായി എൻ സഖി വീണു പണിഞ്ഞേന പാദരേണുക്കൾ മേനിലാകെ കേണുപോ എന്തിനോ കണ്ണീരൊഴുകി പാദങ്ങളാകെ നനഞ്ഞോ വീണു പണിഞ്ഞേന പാദരേണുക്കൾ മേനിലാകെ
ശൃംഗാരം. വീരം. കരുണം. അദ്ഭുതം. ഹാസ്യം. ഹാസ്യം.
ഹാസ്യം രണ്ട് തരമുണ്ട്. ഒന്ന് സ്നേഹത്തിൽ നിന്ന്, വാത്സല്യത്തിൽ നിന്നുണ്ടാകുന്ന വാത്സല്യിക്കപ്പെടുന്ന ഹാസ്യം, അതാണ് നേരെ പരിഭവം. മരുന്നിന് അത്ഭുതം, ഒരത്ഭുതം. സന്തോഷകരമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു വസ്തു കാണുമ്പോൾ അതേവരെ ഒരു രണ്ട് ആനകൾ തമ്മിൽ കുത്തുകൂടുകയാണ്. അത് കാണുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് എന്തായിരിക്കും അപ്പോഴും അത്ഭുതം. പക്ഷെ അപ്പോഴത്തെ അത്ഭുതം ഭയാനകം. ബീഭത്സം. രൗദ്രം. ശാന്തം. ശാന്തം.
Wow, that was truly magnificent, ma'am. Finally, to conclude today's SPIC MACAY, I would like to end the session with a vote of thanks.
I think Shrutika has a question. Shrutika, before vote of thanks, can Shrutika?
And I just wanted to know your opinion on, you know, how the youngest generation are more inclined to.
Sorry, there is a disturbance.
Hello, I'm not.
Yes, please ask.
You know how the recent generation is more inclined towards Western music and Western dancing as opposed to Indian classics, and it's becoming a little less appealing for them. I just wanted to know your opinion on it. I mean, is it because it's
So sorry, I'm not able to hear you clearly.
Ma'am, the current generation, it seems like they're more inclined towards Western music and Western dancing as opposed to Indian classical. And I just want to know your opinion on this.
I think that's because the students or the people, whoever is trying to look around outside, they don't know who we are, or they really don't know the culture or the significance of our culture. So knowing our epics, knowing our Puranas, knowing our roots, and how rich a culture we are having. If the generation is aware of that, I don't think they'll be able to go out and seek something from outside. So that is something which is, I think that is happening to the current generation. So they really don't know who they are and where they come from. So I think that's one thing you can be careful trying to know our roots and know our culture. And our classical dance forms are a representation of this culture. So I think that's what the culture need to know, and I think that's why this is happening. I hope I have answered the question.
Do you have any advice for the young dancers out there? Do you have any advice for the young dancers?
As I said, so young dancers, definitely. So classical dance form, to learn a classical dance form, this is like a language. Classical dance form is like a language. So to learn a language, to express or to express ourselves in that language, you need years of training. There is, in today's the curriculum which has been formatted, which had formed, it is saying like 4 years or 5 years of education or learning a classical dance form. You may be just learning, what to say, any initial step you are getting there. But especially a classical dance form, it has to be learned like a language. If you learn that language and years and years and years of practice practice. Practice is something you have to practice. You have to, experience. You have to bring into your body. Then only you will be able to represent that dance form. You have to, the same way you talk in a particular language, your mother tongue, or in any other language, English or Hindi, all these language. Otherwise, you won't be expressing what you really want to. The satta, the core, which has to come from, especially a performing dance form. It has to be practiced. You have to spend years under a guru. Don't think that by learning for 4 years or 5 years or even 10 years, you are able to do, you will be able to do something. So especially this age, when the Gurukul system of education, which you also practiced in the earlier time, in the Gurukula system, the student will be with the gurus, spending a lot of time watching the guru, watching his practices, watching his choreographies, so learning all those things. Nowadays, children are not getting such an exposure with it from a teacher. So you need to make it a point that you have to learn. And if you have a guru, you are blessed. To know a guru and learn from a guru, that is the main thing a practitioner, a performer should have. And to, of course, know our knowledge, know our roots, know our Samskriti, and try to understand our Samskriti. And as I said, classical dance form is, we can represent our Samskriti through our arts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Smita ma'am. It was a pleasure to interact with you and know more about the legend Kalamandalam Kalyani Gutierrez. She stands a great inspiration to all of us. This brings more interest in the minds of present generation. I thank Dr. Kiran Seth, founder SPIC MACAY, Sumati Kunda Mahurkar, Ashok Jain, and other team members of SPIC MACAY and Diamond Jubilee Celebrations Committee of IIT Delhi for this wonderful idea of giving exposure and creating platform to interact with the legends in different fields. I thank all our parents for constant support, our very own school, Glendale Academy, for always creating opportunities to expand our knowledge and making learning places and nurturing spaces into true sense. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much. Next Saturday, that is on 10th of April, we have Ustad Sultan Khan. We'll be remembering him, and talking to us, interaction would be by his son, Sabir Khan. So please join in. The link is the same. All of you can also join. There's no need for the good things should not be invited again and again. You should yourself come and join us next Saturday, same time, 10th April.
Thank you so much, the team here.